Hi everybody, this is Boog Reviews, and today I'm going to be doing a review on the brand new NECA Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 1990 New York Comic Con exclusive Kevin Eastman figure. So before we take a look at Kevin Eastman, let's go ahead and take a look at all of the accessories that he comes with. So first up we get this manhole cover, and this says Lairdman Island. I like how that's a combination of Peter Laird and Kevin Eastman's name. The sculpt detail to this is really good. The texturing is nice. You get some subtle gold, I think it's gold paint over top of it. On the back here you can see that it has a sculpt of the outline of the turtles from issue number 1 there. You can see it says 28 Union Street, Dover, New Hampshire, original site of Mirage Studios. And then the birthplace of Eastman and Laird's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. This has some incredible sculpt detail, and I love how it says this on the back. NECA did a very awesome job on this accessory. Since Kevin is in his garbage man uniform, you get this trash bag, and I can definitely see myself using this for action figure photography. It looks nice, and surprisingly, he can actually hold it in either of his hands. You just have to pull the tie through his hand right there, and he can hold it very well. It feels like it's filled with like cotton or something to make it look full. This is another very cool accessory. Up next, he comes with 4 markers, and these are so tiny. I really only think he needed 1. They probably gave you 4 because they know you're going to lose these at some point. I definitely need to put these in a baggie or something because they're so tiny, and I know I'm going to lose them at some point. Of course, he can hold one of the markers in his right hand, and he holds it very well. For being such a tiny and thin accessory, he holds it very well. It's a nice tight fit, and it doesn't feel like I'm going to lose it out of his hand. So that's pretty cool. And finally, he comes with a clipboard with a sketch of all 4 turtles, and that looks very nice. I believe this is reused from Professor Perry, because he came with a clipboard. I think all they did was just repaint it so that it had the sketch of the turtles there. But that looks very cool, and he can hold it very well in his left hand. So now let's go ahead and take a look at the head sculpt. So taking a look at this head sculpt, NECA did a phenomenal job at Kevin Eastman's likeness. It looks just like him. Having this in hand, it's very lifelike. I think they did an incredible job at sculpting and painting this. You get some different tones painted over top of his skin, and that looks really good. The hair has some spectacular sculpt detail to it. It looks like it's cast in a light brown color and has some black variation over top of it. You can see how it's some different color back here, but the way the hair is laying and the curls and everything, that looks really good. NECA did a phenomenal job on this head sculpt, and just the figure overall. It looks really good. Even the figure's skin is textured. Right here on his neck and chest, you can see some slight texturing. I think the plaid on the undershirt came out very clean. That looks really good. Down here on the sleeves, it gets a little wavy. Like you can see, a lot of the plaid didn't even get painted down here in the wrinkle. So that is unfortunate. Another really unfortunate thing is you can see that all the paint has chipped off the joint right here. I'm not sure why NECA chose to cast this in this, I think this is black. Why they chose to cast it in such a dark color, because it's so noticeable. I think if they would have cast it in this sort of off-white color, or maybe even blue, it wouldn't have looked so bad. I honestly think this light color blue would have been good. But they cast it in black, and it's really noticeable. The more you move the figure around, the more it's just going to chip off. I moved it right out of the package. I just bent his elbow in like this to get him holding the clipboard, and almost all this chipped off. So that is unfortunate. I do wish NECA would work on making the pegs match up just a little bit better, because at this point I know the paint's going to chip off. It's just incredibly noticeable when it's such a drastically different color than the rest of the figure right here. I also feel like this figure would have benefited from using double jointed elbows. It almost looks like there was going to be a cut right here for a double joint. Just the way the wrinkle's sculpted, I think it really would have benefited from having double jointed elbows, but we just get single jointed elbows. I also think that the arms should have came down to the sides just a little more. They're always kind of just sticking out like that. So that is just a little frustrating that his arms can't completely be relaxed down to his sides. I saw on one of the NECA groups someone was asking if this was reused from Professor Perry, and you can see that none of the parts on this are reused. As far as I can tell, this is all brand new parts, except for maybe the shoes. I think the shoes might be reused from Ash, I want to say. The first Evil Dead Ash. These look the same, I could be wrong about that. But yeah, the body sculpt is entirely new to this. I like how you get the Kevin name tag right here. All of the wrinkles sculpted on the suit look really nice, as well as the stitch work, like the stitch work up the side right here. That looks really good. It has some subtle texturing. It's hard to tell, but you can see some sculpted lines for some texturing there. I think that looks really good. They even sculpted veins on his hand, running up his hand right here on each side. Very subtle detailing, but I think that looks really good. As I said, these shoes might be reused from Ash, I'm not 100% sure, but they do have some nice sculpt detail to them and a nice dark brown wash over top of it. And one thing that I noticed, if you bend the joint right here, you can see that they actually sculpted his socks on for the ankle joint. So yeah, they honestly could have left those plain because you wouldn't really see them because of the way the suit lays. But yeah, you get some texturing right there for his socks. So that looks really good. So now, let's go ahead and go over his articulation. So he has a ball-jointed neck. It can't look back at all because of his hair. He can look down just a little bit. He can move his head side to side. He has shoulders that can move out that far. Single-jointed elbows that can barely bend in. The left side does move in just a little bit more than the right because of the way the wrinkles are sculpted. As I said, I do think it would have benefited from using double-jointed elbows. He has a swivel with the wrist that can move side to side and up and down very nicely. He has a ball-jointed waist that really can't move up and down. It doesn't move side to side. You can hear that joint rubbing there. He has hips. The left side moves out more than the right. You can see that these aren't ball-jointed hips. These are the old style of hips, so I do wish they would have just used ball joints. He can kick forward that far. He can kick back just a little bit. He has a very nice thigh swivel. Single-jointed knees that are very limited in what they can do. Swivel up here in the shin, and it's different on each side. So on the right side, it can move side to side very nicely. On the left side, it can barely move at all. On the right side, the ankles can move up and down pretty nicely, and has a little bit of an ankle rocker. And on the left side, it can't move up and down, and it can't move side to side. So the articulation is a bit weird on the ankles. I know it's because of the way the suit's sculpted down here, but yeah, I wish this one would have had the same articulation as this one. So now, let's do some size comparisons. So first up, here he is next to the 1990 Leonardo and Raphael figures. Here he is next to Donatello and Michelangelo. Here he is next to Shredder from the first film. Here he is next to Professor Perry. Here he is next to the Mirage Leonardo. Here he is next to cartoon Michelangelo. And finally, here he is next to his first sketch turtle. So overall, I think NECA did a fantastic job on this figure. Honestly, I didn't think we would ever get a Kevin Eastman in this line, but I'm very glad we did. Now we just need a Peter Laird figure to go with this. I think that would be very awesome. So hopefully everyone that wanted one of these got one, because now it is completely sold out. I can see this being very difficult to obtain now, because you could either get it through the NECA presale or actually going to New York Comic Con. So hopefully if you wanted one of these, you were able to get one, because it is pretty cool and I'm happy to have it in my collection. So that's my review. If you like this review, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.